Okay, children, we move on to the second audio of chapter 6. And the first audio we stopped were Maddie decides that she has to meet Wanda Petronsky and tell her about the contest and that her 100 dresses were beautiful. Now we move on. When school was dismissed in the afternoon, Peggy said, with pretended casualness, "Hey, let's go and see if that kid has left town or not." So Peggy had the same idea. Maddie glowed. Peg was really all right. So naturally, Maddie was happy because this was the same thought that she also had. So when Peggy suggested that, she was very happy. The two girls hurried out of the building, up the street towards Boggins Heights, the part of town that wore such a forbidding air on this kind of a November afternoon, drizzly, damp, and dismal. Damp and dismal, the meaning is given the wet and sad here, expressing a state of hopelessness. Well, at least, said Peggy gruffly. Gruffly means in a low and harsh tone. I never did call her a foreigner or make fun of her name. I never thought she had the sense to know we were making fun of her anyway. I thought she was too dumb. And gee, look how she can draw. So she said that I didn't make fun of, that is one way of escaping from the situation, right? She says that I did not call her a foreigner or make fun of her name. She commented on her dresses and on what she felt that she boasted. And she says that look how she can draw. Maddie could say nothing. All she hoped was that they would find Wanda. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry they had picked on her and how wonderful the whole school thought she was. And please not to move away and everybody would be nice. She and Peggy would fight anybody who was not nice. So all these she wanted to tell her. She could tell all this only if they meet Wanda, right? So as they proceeded to Boggins Heights, these were the thoughts that Maddie had. That at least I could say all this. What all? That first of all, say sorry for what they had done, and then tell her that how the whole school think about her now after seeing her paintings or drawings, and then nobody will make fun of you anymore. If anybody did that, we will fight for you. The two girls hurried on. They hoped to get to the top of the hill before dark. I think that is where the Petronskys live, said Maddie, pointing to a little white house. Wisps of old grass stuck up here and there along the pathway like thin kittens. Wisps mean actually a small, thin or twisted bunch of something. The house and its sparse little yard looked shabby but clean. Sparse actually means limited. So it's a very small place, understand? It reminded Maddie of Wanda's one dress, her faded blue cotton dress. Shabby but clean. So just like the courtyard. Understand that the place also looked shabby but clean, which reminded Maddie about Wanda's the only blue dress which she usually wore, which looked shabby but clean. There was not a sign of life about the house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. She and Maddie went around to the backyard and knocked there. Still, there was no answer. There was no doubt about it. The Petronskys were gone. How could they ever make amends? Now, what do you mean by make amends? To show that one is sorry by doing something good. Now they realize that what they have done to her was not that good. So how will you repay for that? How will you show her that we are sorry for what we did? One way is by doing something good for her. Now how will they do that? They have already gone. They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she is gone now. So what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawings. She might not even have won the contest otherwise. So again, look at Peggy's attitude. She's trying to justify her actions. She says that if you look at it in one way, maybe I inspired her to draw. When I asked her about her dresses, that would have inspired her to draw 100 dresses. Otherwise, she would not have even won the contest. Maddie turned this idea carefully over in her head. For if there were anything in it, she would not have to feel so badly. But that night, she could not get to sleep. So Maddie couldn't think in those lines. She could not sleep. She thought about Vanda and her faded blue dress and the little house she had lived in. And she thought of the glowing picture those 100 dresses made, all lined up in the classroom. At last, Maddie sat up in bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hands and really thought. This was the hardest thinking she had ever done. After a long, long time, she reached an important conclusion. She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. If she ever heard anybody picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they had strange names, she would speak up, even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship. She had no way of making things right with Vanda, but from now on, she would never make anybody else that unhappy again. So that was an important decision Maddie made in her life. She realized that she cannot do anything to compensate for what she did with Vanda. Vanda has already gone. So she thought, what can I do? She could not think as Peggy thought about it. Peggy is trying to justify her actions. Maddie couldn't do that. So she says, no, that was the hardest thinking that she has ever done in her life. She couldn't sleep. Finally, she came to a conclusion. She took an important decision that hereafter, I will not remain silent. If I see anything wrong happening in front of me, I will speak up. And look at that line. She had no way of making things right with Vanda. That she cannot do now. But she will see to it that no one else will be so unhappy because of her again. And she's also ready, she gets the courage. She says that even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship, even if it means that, I will speak out. That is a decision taken by Maddie. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue in the third audio.